Hi to all our families out there. If we haven't met, my name is Dan, and this is my friend, Rebecca.
Hi, friends.
Last week we asked a very special question. What is God like? You know, there's so many things to know about our big God.
You're right, Dan. Last week we talked about how God is in control. No one can tell God what to do. He is the only one who has the power to accomplish his plans.
That's an amazing thought, Rebecca. Friends, I hope that's something you can talk with your parents about this week, maybe at dinner or on a walk. What is God like? God is in control. Let's say that together. What is God like? God is in control.
We're going to be looking today about how God is in control. Remember this big book, the Bible? It's made up of tons of little stories that when put together make up one big story. And you and I, we're a part of this big story. Today we're going to be looking at 2 Chronicles, which is in the Old Testament. God has been so patient with his people, and he kept sending prophets to tell them and to warn the people that they needed to stop what they were doing and turn back to God. But the people, they didn't listen. The northern kingdom of Israel had already been destroyed, and 180 years later, God allowed the kingdom of Judah to be taken captive. You see, God loved his people so much that he couldn't let them continue to sin. Let's find out what happened.
The last 4 kings of Judah all came from the family of King Josiah. They were his sons, Jehoiahaz, Jehoiakim, Zedekiah, and his grandson, Jehoiachin. Now they all ruled Judah for a short time. Here's what happened. After Josiah died, his son Jehoiahaz became king of Judah. But he wasn't king for very long because he did what was bad in God's eyes. So the king of Egypt came and took Jehoiahaz prisoner back to Egypt. Then his brother Jehoiakim became the king of Judah. Jehoiakim was also a bad king and did what was wrong in God's eyes, and so the king of Babylon came, and he attacked Jehoiakim, and he took Jehoiakim prisoner back to Babylon. So his son Jehoiachin became the king of Judah. Jehoiachin was no better than his dad, and he also did what was wrong. So the king of Babylon sent his servants to go get Jehoiachin and take him back to Babylon as a prisoner. Then the king of Babylon made Jehoiachin's uncle, named Zedekiah, the king of Judah. Zedekiah also did what was wrong, and he made God's people do what was wrong. God loved his people, and he didn't want to destroy them, so he sent his prophets to talk to the people.
The prophets said to stop sinning and to turn back to God, but the people, they didn't listen. Their king, Zedekiah, even led them to do wrong things. The prophets continued to tell them to stop sinning and turn back to God. And it was time for God to punish the people because they didn't listen. And God let the king of Babylon and his army come and take over. Many people died. The king went into the temple, took out everything and destroyed it. He tore down the walls of the city of Jerusalem, and anybody that was left was taken back to Babylon with them. They were made to work for the king and his family. This was their punishment for the sin, and God had warned them that this would happen.
You know, when God's people were taken off to Babylon, they probably thought that their lives were over, that the story of God's people was over. They had a chance to be God's special people, and they had blown it, right? Well, God had not given up on his people. Yes, they had been unfaithful to him, but God is always faithful, and he's always in control. He spoke through his prophet Jeremiah and said, "Look, the days are coming when I will restore the fortunes of my people. I will restore them to the land that I gave to their ancestors, and they will possess it."
God was right to punish his people, but the story wasn't over. God made a promise to send a king through the family of David, and he kept that promise. Do you remember who that is? That's right, it's Jesus. That reminds me of our big picture question and answer. Let's read it together. How did God plan to fix what sin broke? Before he created the world, God planned to send Jesus